You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Donald Trump's inauguration went down yesterday. There's lots of stuff to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the one nice thing that came from all of it is he decided to not scrap but delay all the tariffs that he was going to put on Canada. He was too busy celebrating with all of his rich and famous friends down at the inauguration.
So many famous people there.
The Paul brothers were there. Dana White was there.
I was Wayne Gretzky there.
I've seen in the lead up to the election, Wayne Gretzky's a bit of a Make America
Is
Great
he? I
guy.
didn't know that. Yeah.
I haven't heard him do like interviews or anything like that, but he has been seen at more events than just one. We'll leave it at that.
The biggest thing was the talk of cleavage there as well.
Dude, Jeff Bezos is it his wife or his girlfriend?
I don't know. Yeah,
his plus one.
It didn't seem that bad.
Did you see the picture? I agree with you. She was just wearing like a blazer, and you could see like the bra connecting across the middle.
I saw Zuckerberg staring.
That's my favorite picture from all of it, is just Mark Zuckerberg doing that classic, like, look one direction, but your eyes are stuck in a very different direction.
I feel bad for this lady because everyone's like, oh, she shouldn't have been wearing that. It's like, yo, what the hell was Donald Trump's wife wearing yesterday? Looking like the Hamburglar out there.
Somebody told me that it looked like a character from the old Spy versus Spy comics in Mad Magazine, and that will live with me until the day I die.
I did think it was funny. I saw Doug Ford say that if Trump does continue on with the tariffs thing, he's just not going to sell American beer in the LCBO.
I saw, American booze, they'll pull it out of the LCBO. That's his big, because Trump's like 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods across the border. It's this massive problem. He's like, oh yeah? What if we stop selling Budweiser?
You know, I'll support local as much as the next Canadian, but I am not drinking Lakeport.
That's where you draw.
Don't do that to me.
That's the Patriot line in this.
Do not take away my Miller Lights.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Did you see the new thing that Instagram's doing right now?
Oh, what's old is new again. They're bringing back their snitching services.
So when me and Dalby worked at a station like 6 years ago, we used to go on Instagram, and there used to be a section where you could see what everybody liked.
Yeah, any picture. They weren't really big on videos yet.
It was just photos, yeah.
Any picture that someone on Instagram liked, and a lot of people didn't know this was public, was recorded for you to be able to go through and check for yourself.
And then one day I was scrolling through there just being Snoopy, and I realized our boss at the time liked a lot of very kinky content, if you're catching my drift.
Like, really, like, again, hey.
Borderline X-rated stuff for what you could put on Instagram.
If you're into it, you're into it, and we're not judging, but this was a lot for a work account.
All I'm saying is if I had got that guy for Secret Santa, I would have put a ball gag in there. It was so fun. So apparently they're bringing that back. I was reading about that.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see what everyone's up to.
I'm so excited, but also, like, I'm so nervous. Like, I'm racking my own brain. So now specifically, what this new thing will be is when you go to look at Reels, basically the TikToks of Instagram.
Yeah.
There will be a specific tab to show you things that your friends have liked and things that your friends have commented on so that you can see what they're into. I don't know who asked for this, though.
To be honest, they already kind of done this before, where it's like, at least when you're scrolling through a post and say you see like a hot babe, bikini babe, whatever it is, and then it's like, Gerald and 38,000 people like this photo, and you're like, what's up, Gerald? Like,
my favorite thing is when Gerald catches strays on this show, but carry on.
I see what he likes.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like every now and again it would pop up and it would kind of narc on your friends to be like, hey, this content is right up so-and-so's alley. But now, like, that was sort of at random. Now you'll have a dedicated feed to basically go snooping on your friends on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be getting in trouble. In general, I mean, just some of, like, the memes that people are into is going to get them in some crap, but...
That's the thing. Like, I don't think that I'm into... Like, I'm not into, like, racist content or hate content, or I'm not even liking babes on Instagram,
I like some dark humor, though.
That's the thing, is sometimes a joke comes through, and I wouldn't tell it to but 99% of people in my life. but I still giggle, and maybe I chuck a like on there, and now I'm like, never again.
I feel bad, even like I don't like anything just in general because of that. I treat like Instagram and all that stuff as kind of an antique shop, like look but don't touch.
You're browsing, but you're not buying.
Sometimes it's too expensive to like something, you know? Like it could come back to bite you in the ass, literally. Like
honestly,
get a rogue account is what you need to do.
That's what this is going to be. This is going to lead to a rise in, what are the kids call the Finsta, the fake Instagram accounts? Yeah. People are going to start doing those. They'll have the one where it's like, here's the picture of me and the wife and the kids and the adventures, and look at how happy our life is. And then that second account that's just going to be down and dirty.
Oh, yeah.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The videos that you watch, the memes especially that you consume, they're right up there with your browser history for things you never want people to discover.
Could you imagine if Google started doing something like this? Like, I went to a website and it did the same thing where it's like, Dalby visited this website on January 21st at 7:59 a.m.
Even so much as like, you know, when you go to Google and you type something in, it's like search, and then they had that like I feel lucky button, which would just take you to a random Google search result.
Yeah.
Imagine a third button that's like what your friends are searching.
Oh,
and
damn.
it would be like, hey, on December 13th, 2023, your friend Brock searched up and just whatever it was. You just, oh no, I didn't want to know that.
Or even like how it'll be like Dalby like this. It'd be like Dalby watch this.
Dalby checked this out. Yeah. Or when you go to YouTube, it's like Dalby watch this all the way through from start to finish and rewound to this part multiple times.
Even worse on the hub, it's like, damn, he only got 45 seconds in.
Didn't even need the full minute, man.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was reading an interesting article that is claiming champagne sales are down all across the world, allegedly because nobody has anything to celebrate anymore.
Times are tough, man. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams are a lot harder to come by.
It's claims that the sales sank around 10% last year, an all-time low for champagne bottles coming from France. And I mean, I guess in this day and age, there's not much really to be stoked on anymore.
I mean, unless you're a very specific kind of person, there's not a lot of people that I know anyway that drink champagne because they like the taste. It's for what it represents, right? It's elegance, it's extravagance, it's lavishness, and it's celebration. You pop bottles when you win the Stanley Cup, not on a random Thursday.
Maybe we should just switch champagne to milk, do the F1 thing, start splashing milk around at each other.
Pour the bottles out over each other's heads and stuff like that. The old Kurt Angle milk truck.
Yeah. Also, I mean, champagne's way too expensive just to be even splashing around these days.
That's honestly the thing that's always bothered me is when you watch people at like NASCAR or wherever that'll shake up the bottles and they're spraying it around, and I was like, that's so much money, and you got like 4 drops near your mouth. You didn't taste any of that.
At least buy something cheap like a bottle of Baby Duck or something, you know?
That one makes a lot more sense. What was that old, I don't know if they had it in Ontario, big in Alberta, Boone's, the wine coolers?
Okay, yeah.
Shake that up and spray that around. It's like $4 a bottle.
I think we've narrowed it down. It's not that there's not a lot to celebrate right now. It's the fact that it's so damn expensive.
Right.
I mean, also, if you think about it, people are broke right now. They can't afford to be popping champagne bottles and not getting a damage deposit back. Those damn corks, man.
I'm going to need to return this.
I think the only thing that's keeping champagne alive is mimosas right now.
See, mimosas I can get behind. Now, that's an effective way to spend your money.
We need to make more bottomless mimosas. Make bottomless mimosas great again, and then champagne will start to rise back up.
And then when you go to celebrate bottomless mimosas, what do you do it with? With champagne.
Make getting drunk at 11 a.m. great again.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know, Dalby and I were just talking off air that we were kind of negative about the fact that there's nothing to celebrate anymore, talking about the champagne sales being down and everything. And I do think we are wrong. I do think we need to maybe appreciate the small things in life because there are things to celebrate.
Well, yeah, that's just it. Like, maybe you don't have any big things that have come up in your life that you're like, oh my God, this is exciting. But every day, little things happen that I think are worth celebrating.
For example, with all these rules changing with Meta and stuff, people are more unhinged on Facebook again. And I think that is something to celebrate. It's more entertainment for all of us.
The entertainment value has never been higher.
Absolutely.
Also, you know, people like to complain about the weather, but if you think about where we are in the calendar, the days are only going to get longer and warmer from here. until they go back to being darker and colder. But for now...
I mean, if you think about that, even if you look at global warming causing global temperatures to rise, that just means each winter is going to get warmer and warmer. We're going to have less snow, guys.
It also means that a lot of people who didn't used to have oceanfront property will in a handful of years.
There you go. Negative to a positive right there.
Also, can we just celebrate dogs? Just dogs. They exist.
Yeah.
And that's worth celebrating.
Also, I mean, the fact that the Costco hot dog is still $1.50 and they refuse to change that.
And it comes with a soda. $1.50 hot dog and a pop.
Absolutely. I mean, in general, with everyone being so health conscious right now, nobody makes fun of me for drinking Michelobes anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really gone down the slide lately.
Yeah.
Also, if you're haunted, today is another day further away from that thing that you did that you were hoping everybody would forget about. One day they'll let it go.
I will say, I was reading a report recently that Canada's fertility rate hit an all-time low, the lowest that it's ever been.
Okay.
How about we celebrate that less idiots are having kids, honestly? I think that deserves a round of applause, does it not?
I can get on board with that.
Some of you should stop procreating.
This is the Brock and Delby Podcast.
Does anybody eat cherry blossoms, those candies? I was reading an article. Apparently, cherry blossoms will no longer be available in Canada soon. The Hershey's company has announced that they're taking them out of Canada. They haven't announced why, and I do have a theory, is the fact that nobody eats those. You ever had a cherry blossom before?
Are those the things in the yellow cube box?
Yes.
I have never had one myself because if I'm being honest, the packaging is the yellow cube with the cherry blossom candy picture on the front, and it looks disgusting.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a bad stool sample is what it looks like.
Also, can I say this, and maybe I'm wrong? Does every box you've ever seen on the shelf not look dusty? They all look like they've been there forever somehow.
Yeah, it looks like it's just been sitting there for 20 years. The only person I've ever seen eat one of those is my old man.
I saw a picture, and this actually makes a lot of sense. I saw a picture of a boss I used to work for post a picture of 9 boxes saying that he wasn't going to share.
Yeah.
And it makes sense if he already heard the news that these are being discontinued.
I've never looked at that yellow box before with the weird ooze and the cherry and been like,
Because it's like a maraschino cherry, right? Which, that's popular in cocktails. Yeah. It's my favorite kind of cake is a Black Forest cake. Usually you'll have one of those on each piece. I kind of like that. But I don't know what it is. There's just something about having this little chocolate cave with a cherry inside that I'm just nah, I'm good.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually eat them other than my dad, and that's basically it. I don't know. And I apologize here. I don't know if it's an old people candy.
Right, yeah.
Maybe that's the thing.
But I mean, you said they're not announcing why they're stopping selling them. Maybe it's just because other than your dad, who's buying these things?
Yeah, they say they've been around since 1890, but
I think I saw one from 1890 on a store shelf.
That's
by
how
my
the boxes
house.
look, right? Yeah. Just the ooze and everything on it does not look appetizing at all.
And that's just it. It looks like it's a hard chocolate with peanuts, and then it feels like you'd bite into it, and then it would just go all over.
The image on it is just so disturbing, too.
There's no part about it that's appetizing.
But apparently people are buying these things up in bulk right now because they're freaking out that they're going to disappear right now.
Damn, if you've got a mom and pop convenience store near you, today is the day to go see if they have a stockpile of cherry blossoms. You'll be able to sell these things on eBay by the end of the month. Big money.
762-555. Does anybody actually like these? Is it just us? I've never had one of you.
No, maybe it is just us. Maybe everybody else out there is no, guys, these are great.
Online, everyone's treating it like it's a Canadian delicacy or something.
I've never known anybody that's hey, if you're going to the store, can you grab me a cherry blossom?
Get me a couple blossoms? Yeah.
The Brock and Delby Podcast.
Boys, I work at a gas station right now, and those cherry blossom things, the generation before us love them things, apparently. They haven't bought them in 20 years, but now that they're not going to be sold in Canada anymore, they're buying them like crazy. I had a lady come and she bought every one we had on the shelf. She's like, oh, they're going to be discontinued. I need to buy them all. Well, where were you for 20 years? I haven't sold one. since I've worked here for 2 years.
The gist I'm getting is I was technically right. It is old people candy.
It's just one of those things that, like, a certain generation grew up with them. And I saw Jason texted in 762-555. Says when he was a kid, they were 25 cents. And when you put it that way, like for a quarter, to get a big hunk of chocolate with peanuts and a cherry feels like a good deal. But I looked on the Metro website, and they're listed for $1. And now that feels like that's too much for this particular candy.
Also, from what I Googled, they're sold out everywhere, so good luck finding them.
Right, that's the thing. People are saying like that they're seeing people stocking up, they're clearing out store shelves. Like I said, if you've got like an older convenience store near you and you like these, today might be the last day.
The cherry blossom is like those weird strawberry candies that every grandma has, but you don't know where to find them.
Yeah. They come in the foil wrapper, and it's like I've never seen them in the wild. I've only seen them in crystal bowls.
When you were a kid, what was old people food to you?
You know what? It was Werther's Original. I mean, that's the classic one.
Yeah.
And then Macintosh toffee bars.
True.
Remember those in the red box?
True.
Only person I ever knew in my entire life that ate them was my old man.
I feel like you have to have no teeth to physically eat those.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'd watch this guy, and I think that's what was so intriguing about it, is he'd, like, pick them up, and he'd, in the box, like, slam it on the floor to break up all the pieces. And then here I am as a kid. I'm like, hey, can I have some? And he'd be like, maybe when you're older. And I always thought it was because it was like only adults can eat this. He just didn't want me busting my teeth on these things.
762-555. What was some food when you were a kid that you thought was just for old people? I remember those oatmeal crisp commercials used to get me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you wouldn't like it, right?
This is not for you.
Even Special K when I was a kid, I thought that was old people food.
Well, I mean, to be honest, because you would look at Special K in the bowl, and then you would look at Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and all these other cereals. Even I remember as a kid thinking Raisin Bran was when you were a kid, you ate Fun cereal, and then you settled down into Raisin Bran when you got older.
You eat the bran because you need to poop.
That's right, yeah. The raisins are you, like, clinging to your childhood.
Liver and onions is old people food. Always for me. Yeah.
100%. It's liver and onions at 5 o'clock watching Matlock reruns in the old folks' home.
And Jell-O.
You get Jell-O twice in your life. Once when you get your tonsils out, and again when you're too old to eat hard food.
There's a weird era in your 20s when you use them for shots, but that's about it.
That's true. I forgot about Jell-O shots. That's accurate.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I saw an interesting story about a lady over in the Netherlands who was trying to start a 30-day campaign. Yesterday was Blue Monday, you know, that whole thing, the travel agencies.
Oh, yeah.
Tried to convince people it's the saddest day of the year so they'd all buy trips. Well, decided to try and use it for good. That starting on Blue Monday, for the next 30 days, people would take an oath to not complain about anything.
Oh, that's impossible.
Giving up whining for 30 days. Now, she's been doing this apparently in Belgium for the last 7 years and says that it has helped people to develop a more positive outlook on life. It is now trying to move it to the Netherlands, who she refers to as world champions in whining. Which is rough.
I get what she's going for. I mean, there's nothing more annoying than someone who's a complainer, but complaining is also like breathing. Like, sometimes you need it to survive.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like we've all, had a friend or a family member or a coworker who does nothing but whine and moan about everything, and that sucks. Like, that's a real drag. But I'm with you, brother. Like, sometimes you just need to complain about something.
I complain for fun sometimes.
It's just for recreational
purposes. I complain
about
things I love. Honestly, it throws people off, but sometimes they'll complain with you. I find it easier to bond with a complainer.
Right.
Than anyone else sometimes.
100%. I feel like the majority of workplace-related friendships are built over bonding over whining about either the conditions, the pay, or the boss.
Two negatives do make a positive.
Sometimes that trust of whining or complaining in front of one another can make you a stronger bond.
Oh, yeah. You're at an event, whatever it is, family, work, whatever. If you start complaining about something with someone and they agree with you in the same vein, then, like, that's a great start to a friendship, honestly.
Exactly. Because on the other side of the coin, I think I would rather deal with the person complaining all the time than the person who never complains.
Dude, the person who's too positive, and, like, I know someone's shaking their head at me right now, but if you're always happy-go-lucky,
yep.
Probably a psychopath.
Captain Positivity is either hiding something or unbalanced, and I don't trust them either way.
The guy who never complains is the guy that you should be scared of.
Or either that or the guy who never complains is the guy you're complaining about.
Yeah.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Crikey. It's time for animal impressions with Croc and Digby. Sorry, Brock and Dalby.
All right. We've got $100 in Lotto Max tickets to give away for tonight's jackpot here.
$60 million up for grabs, 6 Max Millions as well. Our winner today gets $100 in tickets that they can use to try and bring in some of that big money.
All right, the impression we are looking for is an aardwolf.
Yeah, we're trying to learn about like new animals this week.
It's also kind of sad. It just sounds like a bunch of sad puppies.
It does sound aggressive and sad at the same time, but it does give our contestants, I feel, a lot to work with today. So this is definitely going to be a bring the whole ass kind of content.
We'll start with line 1 here. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's Carl with a K.
Carl with a K. All right, my man. Here's what we need from you. That is apparently an animal called an aardwolf. So Carl with a K, let's see what you got.
He did have the sufficient level of despair in his voice.
Everyone's just going to sound like sad puppies this morning. Oh, okay. All right, Carl with a K, good job. Stay on hold here. All right, let's go to line 2. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
This is Tina with a T.
Tina with a T. All right, are you ready to give us your aardwolf?
Oh, I'm going to try my best.
All right, whenever you're ready, Tina with a T, let's hear it. This is really good.
I got my dog going now.
Yeah.
I should have let her do it instead. She
Well done, Tina.
I feel like I'm at the SPCA right now. This is sad.
You just want to pet everybody.
All right, let's go to line 3. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
It's Ross.
Ross, all right, my man. You're in the sweet spot. What do you think of your fellow aardwolfs this morning?
They sound pretty good.
All right, well, this is what we need from you.
All right.
You can one-up
right.
the class. All right, Ross, stay on hold here. All right, a round of applause for everyone here because they made me all feel very sad.
Some Sarah McLachlan playing in the background.
Oh, my God. What do you guys think? Line 1, line 2, line 3?
We had Carl with a K, Tina with a T, and Ross with, I'm assuming, an R, though he did not specify. And they did. They all really captured that sort of whining, screeching, howling sound of the African aardwolf today. I don't know. I don't know that I lean one way over the other. I did like Carl's.
The text line does seem to lean closer towards Carl with a K.
Carl with a K brought it right out of the gate and set the tone, and I think I'm happy with him as a winner.
Carl with a K, can we hear your aardwolf one more time?
Yeah, guys.
All right, I'm going to give it to you a ding and a round of applause because I don't want to hear anyone make that sad dog noise for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You get yourself $100 in Lotto Max tickets, all right, my friend?
Right on, guys. Thanks.
If you do happen to win the jackpot, got some nickels and dimes for the fellas over here at least?
I do.
If you don't, then we're just going to show up to your house and make this noise.
Stand on your lawn.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We did talk about the lady who got scammed by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, $800,000.
$800,000 being put up in by thinking Brad Pitt was put up in the hospital and she was saving his life. Well, Brad Pitt actually released a statement on it. He said, "It's awful that scammers take advantage of the strong bond between fans and celebrities." He said, "This is an important reminder not to respond to unsolicited online outreach," which I think is funny. Because it's almost just kind of him, like, poking the bear a little bit of, like, you idiot.
Yeah, kind of a little bit, right? A little bit of him being like, obviously, I didn't reach out to you,
Obviously,
Mildred.
I would never want to talk to you. That's basically what he said in a nutshell.
It's just such a shame that these scammers are ruining the arm's length distance we keep from each other where you just watch my movies and I don't have to talk to
He's
any
basically
of
like,
you.
remember I'm me and you're you, okay?
I'm friggin' Brad Pitt.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You should send a text to me in my my friend Dolby. Just send a text 762-555. Ask us your questions. We're always here for you. Just send a text and we'll try to reply.
I've always said the people are the wind beneath our wings.
Love me some Groban. Love me some Groban. 762-555. As Josh Groban once said, please send us your questions. First one in says, what are your Super Bowl predictions? Like, who's going to play in the Super Bowl? I'm hoping it's the Bills and the Eagles.
I think that's what everybody wants, right? I don't know if anybody outside of Kansas City and Taylor Swift fandom wants the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl again. I just can't get excited about the Commanders.
No.
Bills, Eagles, just for the shots of the fans leading up to the game alone would be fascinating.
Oh my God, there's going to be so much alcohol sold at that Super Bowl if that was the matchup there. Plus, screw the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
you know?
At this point, you had your run. You've had enough. You're boring. Get out of here.
Someone said, who is your favorite monster truck?
You know, I know that Gravedigger is like the big one that everybody knows. I grew up on Bigfoot. Man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bigfoot was my jam.
I was going to say I was a big Maximum Overdrive guy myself. Yeah.
I don't even know, like, I see modern monster trucks, and they bring out Gravedigger every now and again. The rest of them I don't even recognize. But if you say monster trucks, I still think of that big blue truck.
What about Monster Mutt, the one that had the dog ears on it that would flop in the wind?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That one was pretty cool.
I feel
too.
bad for the people who drive Gravedigger because I don't know, like...
Any of them?
I don't know any of the people who drive. It's the truck that you're happy to see.
I do feel like if you're ingrained in the culture, you know the driver. Like, I know that I've heard Gravedigger driver's name before. He's a big deal. But you can't just be a casual monster truck fan like you and me.
But they switch them out so fast. It's not like Aunt Viv in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where you catch it, you know? Someone said, oh, this one's for you, Dalby. It says, Dalby, where do bald men stop washing their face?
You go all the way around. Once you get rid of the hair on your head, it just becomes like everything else.
Do you still need to conditioner or no?
I still do, but because I got the big beard, right?
Yeah.
So what I'll do, I have beard wash and beard condition, like specific for it. I'll give my beard a good wash, and then I will bring the shampoo and conditioner up to my head because I do still have the fine little hairs up top.
Sure.
But when I'm fully clean, no, I just use body wash. I'll just get up there with a loofah and scrub my scalp.
That's what the 3-in-1 was made for.
That's
right?
Exactly.
Someone said, can you do a service announcement for grown professionals who end their work email with cheers? Can we please stop doing this?
First of all, stop looking at me when you say that.
I do cheers too.
I love cheers. Cheers is great. I don't see the problem with it. Would you rather, like, yours truly? Like, what are we supposed to sign off our emails?
Yeah, I'm not writing a letter like it's the 1940s and I'm at war.
Yeah, no, I've been using cheers on work emails. And I mean, mind you, we're in kind of an unserious profession compared to, like, lawyers and doctors and things like that. Yeah. But I'm not stopping.
I guess it depends on who it's coming from. Yeah, like, if it's your divorce attorney and they're like, hey, your wife's taking everything, cheers.
Yeah, we're not cheers.
Yeah, I think it depends on who it is.
Yeah, there's some gravitas to certain people's emails.
We'll wrap up with this one. Someone said, if you were a car, what make and model would you be?
Oh boy. I gotta think that I'd be like an old Aerostar or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
Maybe you know what it is? No, I'm a Hummer. I take up a lot of room, and a lot of this doesn't work.
And you're very gassy.
A lot of it's for show.
Very gassy, yeah.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is gallivant. Yep, gallivant. Gallivant. And it's to travel or roam around for pleasure, or to go about, usually ostentatiously or indiscreetly. So kind of like bar hopping, I guess. Anyways, that's just Mo Dodger. Have a great one. Cheers. You're up.
That's actually a great example of the bar hopping is, in search of pleasure or anything like that.
Yeah, you're just gallivanting about downtown, going from place to place, having a good time, usually walking around, a little swagger in your step.
I think you could even say, like, when you're going on vacation, you're gallivanting, but if you're going to the in-laws, probably not so much of a gallivant.
No, that's more of a march to the death kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like heading home from the bar, knowing that you're going to go home and might get a little...
Right. Oh,
that's gallivanting.
You are gallivanting up the step right into the house.
Then there's a lot of times that you head home from the bar knowing you're in trouble. Not so much of a gallivant.
No, we don't gallivant when we know that there's bad things ahead of us. We only gallivant when we're having a good time.
Yeah. This sounds like you're going to get a gallarant. It's more like it. Gallivant. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.